And again, thank you for continuing with BSB 41507, Certificate for and Project Management. This is the second of 3 cost management recordings. This presentation particularly talks about determining budget, and the objectives for this are for you to understand and apply your knowledge regarding the accumulation of estimated costs into a cost baseline. PMBOK 4 references Chapter 17, page 174. Budgets in particular are the monies authorised and provided to fund the project. They are far more formalised and fixed than a cost estimate. Budgets are expected to have a substantial foundation and validation for the figures that are included. Budget inputs include all project documentation, in particular the cost estimates that have already been completed, the scope, the risk management plan, etc. Again, other resources including accountants, HR managers and area managers, including such things as production, logistics, etc., are valid contributors, and quite often workshops with all the relevant experience in one room at one time is the best way to be able to obtain the information that you require. As mentioned in the earlier video, cost versus budget are very close. They're so close they're often considered to be one exercise. Budget is an extension of cost. In the money cycle, quite often you may develop several cost estimates for different parts of the project. Then you develop the budget. You go through a cost management exercise throughout the course of the project life cycle, and due to various changes or impacts or unexpected occurrences within the project, you need to update cost estimates, update the project, and continue in the cycle of controlling costs. Quite often the cost estimate won't be involved, and you go through controlling costs, making payments, authorising payments, checking the quality and the continuity of that work that's being done. Then you'll update the project and you'll continue on that cycle. Sometimes you need to go through a cost estimate as well. Outputs from the project are included in PMBOK figure 7-5 on page 175. Developing the cost budget may identify new tasks, obviously for the work breakdown structure or Gantt chart. It may introduce new risks or issues, and the quality management and that may need to be updated as well. With regards to scope, payment requests might have come through for work that's been done out of scope, and that needs to be managed. Procurement is an obvious input and output to budget. The procurement guidelines and contracts need to be managed closely to ensure that the work that's being committed to is undertaken appropriately, there's a quality practice around the work that's being finalised, and that the monies charged actually adhere to the standards already agreed to within the contracts. And of course we have a project timeline which sets the forecast of when payments are expected to be outgoing from the project and when project funding is coming into the project. With regard to project scope, the budget and the scope must align totally. If an out-of-scope item needs to be done, or has been done, the control over the scope variation, budget change, contract variation, etc. must be adhered to. To pay out of the budget without that being done will cause you ongoing conflict. It's essential to understand and know what is contained within the scope of your project, often without needing to refer to the project documents. Having a clear understanding at the actual heart of the project is important. It's obviously beneficial to see a project budget set to a timeline over the course of the lifetime of the project. The funding set up against a monthly timeline, similar to a cash flow analysis, will enable you to have more control over what is actually outgoing and what's incoming to the project, and know what's happening in the future. In summary, the cash estimate and budgets are so close that some people consider them to be parts of the same exercise. All the other project documentation, all the critical project documents, including the project plan, the risk management plan, etc., are all critical inputs to the budget, as well as being outputs, and may particularly need to be changed as a result of budget alterations or updates.